Okay, so we are done with keyframe number 1. So that's the first keyframe. Okay, the first reference done. Now let's say a fix-up, or it was asked to be edited, no? And the editing note that was given is that we need, or you are asked or tasked to reduce the thickness of this line because it's too thick, right? So what do we do since the drawing is already finished? Okay, so if you can remember, we have assigned a thickness of 20 for this cleanup line. So it is being asked to be thinned down to, let's say, half. So it should just be on a size 10. So what do we do is this. So we will select, we will first activate our pencil editor tool. Okay, so you can find the pencil editor here under the contour editor. Just click, hold on it, and then you will see the pencil editor coming out. Then we can select all of these. You can create a selection going around it to select all of those cleanup lines that you have created. And then you will see at the tools properties, here at the tools properties, you will see the size. Since we have used the size 15 for this, it is being asked to reduce to 10. Sorry if I mentioned 20 earlier. So reduce it to the size of 10. So I will just type in here 10. And as you can see, it has thinned down. So that is one way of editing your work. Okay, so you can select all of them or some portions of them, and then you just go to your tools properties and set the size. Now after that we have done that, so let's say all is okay. So we are now done with our first keyframe. So now we can hide. Okay, so keyframe number 1 can now be hidden, or you can directly go here. Oops, sorry about this. You can directly go here at the at the node view, and select the layer or the node layer of our keyframe 01 named line test 01, and then I can press delete. Press OK. Now there's no more line 1 or line test keyframe 1 layer. And as you can see on the stage, we are now seeing keyframe number 3. Okay, but the black lines that we see are also keyframe number 1. So what do we do? Since we are going to work on the line test 03 or keyframe 03, we can now type in here in our frame counter. Let's type in there 3, and automatically the needle goes to that number or frame number. So as of now, it is a blank frame. So what do? We press right click and choose insert keyframe, or the shortcut is F6. After inserting the keyframe there, the next thing that we will be doing now is start the drawing. Okay, so again, I will go to my polyline tool, and then my polyline tool, polyline tool. And in my polyline tool, I will set it to 10. Since I have set this frame 1 or keyframe 1 into 10, I will now continuously use the size 10 for my cleanup. So still, I will be performing the same procedure, but let me give you some tips in doing your cleanup. So here, in doing the cleanup, when you're using the polyline, I'd always suggest to first always use lesser points. The lesser points, the easier to manage and the cleaner your lines are going to be. So as you can see here, I use lesser points and pull out most of the time the tangents, you know, of my polylines. Then I will switch to the contour editor. I will select it. And then from here, I can further manage or manipulate the lines just by using the tangents. These are the tangents, these yellow-green or neon green headed lines. Those are the tangents. Allows me to control both curvature and corners of my polyline. So next, aside from just using lesser points, I'd also suggest to you to do not trace accurately. No, do not follow your reference immediately at first run or at first try. I would suggest to you to use the editing or your contour editor, your editing tools for the line. For example, I will, as I've been doing in our recent cleanup, I would always trace over or perform overlaps such as this, overlapping lines, and then just adjust them a little bit, then use letter T or hold letter T and clean up the excess. So that's one way of working quickly and at the same time having a more accurate trace of your cleanup. Okay? Another, if you're going to trace lines, continuous lines like this, you can again use lesser amount of points and take advantage of your tangents. So as you can see here, I am just using the tangents. I am not concerned of immediately getting the trace accurate. I use or I provide time to edit it. There. And as you can see, I am using again lesser points so that anytime I can add if I am required to. See? There. There. So that's fine with me. Let me clean this up. So continuing from here. So here I am just doing a series of click and drags to produce immediately some curvatures for the mouth, which is required by the reference. Okay. Going through this, and then this here onto the mouth, down here, there, and oops, let's just go back here. Now I would like to add a point, so again I'll just switch to my contour editor, hold control, you see the plus sign when you press the hold control, and then click there on that path and it adds that anchor point. So that's how you add points there to create pointy curves like this. Okay. Oops, that's too much. I can press Alt to reset that curve point. There. A little arrow key and it's done. Okay, so let's proceed to the other parts. Holding T. I am cleaning the work after I have gotten the line precisely. Another pointer or advice that I can give to you as you do this is set up your shortcuts. I am Since I am using the pen tool, I have customized the shortcuts to letters that I am commonly using in some softwares. For example, this shortcut set that I'm using for my pen or polyline tool is the same with Photoshop and Illustrator shortcuts because I'm also using those software. So I adjusted the shortcuts in the keyboard shortcut settings that we have discussed in the first session. So that's where just I activated it or set it. You see here, I'll just cut this off. Oops, sorry. So the top one, and then continuously working on this part up to this part, and here and here. Let's just do that. Pressing A, that's for my contour editor. I usually press A so that I'd stop creating lines, or you can press Control click, then holding the T to clean up those overlaps. And this one also, and then here add this detail. Next is a detail of the face here. Now, if I can remember correctly, in frame 1 or keyframe 1, there is also a detail same as that. So what do? I do not redraw this. I would rather have this copied so that it will be consistent. So I'll switch to my selection tool, select it, copy it, and then I go back to frame number 3 and paste it there. Pasting it there, adjusting a little on the arrow keys further. That's fine. Proceeding to the other parts. So it's a repetitive process. That's why since day one I have instructed you, or I have given you the procedures in the use of the tools, because these are the constant things that you will be doing once you're working in an animation production. Oops. Just pressing A, P for the pen polyline there. Oops, sorry about that. Here and here. Pressing A, contour editor, adding one, holding control, and further, little adjustments there, then P here, this A. So I'm just switching and switching the shortcuts and the tools there. So it's almost finished. Selecting it, moving it here, there. Now let's say this one, Let's check. How is this to be fixed? Oops. Now let's say, but this is too much, right? So how do we fix this? Let's say I want this a corner, but whenever I cut the excess lines, this appears. This means that the points are not together. Okay? You can select them as one, but they are not together. So what do? We can select those points together just by creating a selection surrounding them. And then you go here. Remember, I am using the contour editor. Okay? So what I did, while I'm on the contour editor, I selected these 2 points together. And then I go here at the tools property. In the tools properties, you will find this. This is join pencil lines. It means these 2 points are going to be joined together or merged. So I'll click this and they are now together. I'll repeat. I'll select those 2 points, click the join pencil lines that is found here at the tools properties, clicking it, there. Zooming out. Now, that's fine with me. I'll cut off this. I'll add a detail here. There. Cutting this portion off also. Continuing the cleanup and adding this detail. So as you can see, there. I'll do this. Select, copy, paste, drag it down. Just this excess. Move. Saving my work from time to time. Always don't forget to save your work. Dragging, moving, moving. There. Yes, a little. Okay. I'll copy and I'll paste so that I can also use it here on these other parts. Here, it is very important to be consistent because if there are any inconsistencies in every frame, it will be very noticeable, especially when you are starting to play or run the animation. Copy and paste. That's why I just copy and then I just resize it as required in my reference. So saving the work, continuing the trace. So the trace now here looks fine. Here, here. Tracking this, keeping it up. Here. And then just following the lines. So here, I would like it to be continuous here. Oops. Let's drag it a little further down there. There. Oops. There. A to switch. Add a little. Turn. There. Okay. That's alright. This portion seems fine. Let's add a little more curve as per our reference. Okay. Cleaning up overlaps. You have to always clean up. So constantly looking at your work. It's very important. And by the way, as you can observe, I am not doing anything new. Still consistent to our session, or sorry, first session, I am doing the shortcuts. I am using the tool with just my customized shortcuts as I do my clean up. So doing the clean up. Okay, so this is a problem here. Let's say I want to cut this, want that removed, because I would rather have this ankle continuing, because this is a lot more correct. There, see, that's cleaner line. And then from here I can just do the curve, little adjustment, maybe there. Then let's clean those excess portions. That's better, right? So once more, just keeping the lines clean. There. And then here. Okay. So far, the cleanup is coming out fine. Oops, I'm seeing something. I think I overlooked that. Yep, this portion. There. Oops. This one, forgot to trace. Saving it. Saving and saving. There. Okay. Things are looking fine. Now this. Right. Opening it. Oops, sorry. Tracing it and following the reference continuously in here, and I'm done. I am done with keyframe number 3, right? Okay, and since that is done, let me check. I would like to, since I have finished tracing keyframe number 3, I can now delete the layer reference for it. Yes. And I can hide the remaining references. For now, I'd like to hide them. Why? Because I'd like to see the progress of my work. So, because I have done 2 keyframes already. I have 1 there and keyframe 2. So, as you can see, the illusion of movement is starting to happen. Right? Okay. So, I'll save my work and then I will open up the next layer. Reference number 5. Okay, so here it is. Number 5. So, of course, seeing that this is keyframe number 5, I will type in here number 5. There. Always refer to your layer names because those are the names of their frame number. Okay? Next, I will just repeat the steps. I will right click, insert keyframe, or press F6 this time, and a keyframe has been created. And now I will once again start my trace. But since I'm seeing some portions here that I can already copy, for example this one and this one, I can copy those two. I can go back to this frame and paste them. And then I can just reposition, need be, and then resize if required. Right? I can also go back, get one, see, and paste. So as you can see, the cleaning up process, it is maybe repetitive, but you have to be also careful because the main objective in cleaning up is to be consistent also at the same time. So your lines, the size of the lines, the drawings should all be always consistent. Okay? So now you will just continue the tracing until you finished all of the keyframes into their proper keys or key numbers. Okay? Okay, you may now proceed.